What's up, guys? Fight Show episode 12, live on the interwebs. Presented, as always, by Pull No Punches Apparel 717 Surplus and our new partners, CannaDips. CannaDips CBD, right? Whoop, where's the camera? Right there. Got a bunch of them. I'm gonna do a flavor a week, guys. This week's tangy citrus. I've already had this, so I can tell you, like, when I say I have not had a flavor that I have not liked, but super throwing in, talk to a podcast, whatever. But yeah, CannaDips.com, code FightShow, 20% off, and they will get you squared away. What's up with you, Bubba?
Working like crazy, man. It's the first day off in like probably 2-3 weeks. And pretty nuts.
Yeah, little Wednesday action this week. My daughter's got a school thing tomorrow, and of course, Saturday night, big UFC 296. But locally for us in PA, I got extended the invite for 247 Fighting Championships to go out there, and well, me and Bill both got the invite, but Bill is indisposed, so he will not be making the trip this time. I will be there. There is some messages I sent out to some people that messaged us. We're doing a little meetup at Permante's. Times are in the messages, guys. And we will see Yins out in Pittsburgh for 247 Fighting Championships. Other than that, exciting week. I know they just today, Cejudo Merab.
That's a good one.
February on the Volk Tapiria card.
Dude, we have so many good fights coming up. Like I'm crazy excited for this weekend. This is like one of the best fight cards I can remember. You know,
bro, it's just been
it's pretty good.
Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, killer, man. Something got into that guy.
I mean, five in a row. He definitely had the issue with tough and but like he looked composed.
Oh, dude,
14-5. So his record's not horrible. Like he's 14-5. I think 5 first-round KOs. 8 years with the UFC, 5 in a row. KO'd Gokhan Saki, which, if you're not a combat sports nerd, you might not know who that is. But like, if you're bored, go look up Gokhan Saki kickboxing. They call him Turkish Tyson. I've always been a fan of him. Even when I wasn't a real big kickboxing fan, I would pay attention to what Gokhan Saki was doing. But that guy was an absolute nightmare. But he KO'd him. I mean, it's Anthony Smith. Not taking anything away from Anthony Smith, but he looked like short notice. Anthony Smith, the gatekeeper. Khalil looked composed though. I mean,
I'll tell you what, Khalil Roundtree reminds me of Joey Pfeiffer. When he throws, man, he throws for real. Like he throws like with intent, you know. And I remember watching Khalil Roundtree years ago, and all of a sudden, he just, I don't know, one fight, he decided to start throwing hard. And he's just been like KOing people ever since. Like he's fighting the right way. If he really wants to change his life, I mean, you want to talk about a dark horse to win a title in 2024? Khalil Roundtree. It could happen, you know?
Well, if you look, I actually just posted, and I'll pull it up here. Get rid of this quick.
What was Anthony Smith? Was he like number 10 ranked? What, 15 ranked, somewhere in there?
He was 8th, which I don't. I think. Hold up. Let me. I'll pull this up here. We'll see. I just posted them because they just came out yesterday.
Okay.
So Roundtree is now 8. Anthony Smith was 8, but if you look, so Jamal Hill's out with an Achilles. That could. I mean, you're not. Nobody's even putting a time frame on that from what I heard.
Yeah.
Yuri just came off the loss clearly with Alex, so he's available, I believe. Ankalaev is booked with Johnny Walker.
That guy's the best in the division.
Blachowicz is out, and Rakic just dropped the Blachowicz fight. So really, I mean, if you look at, and clearly he's probably at least medical suspended. So you're talking end of first quarter next year
Roundtree had the perfect assessment of what was going on after his fight. Yes, he wants to fight Alex Pereira, but he knows another fight needs to happen first.
Yeah. So do you okay? So do you give him Rakic? Really, the only people that are available are Yuri and Rakic, unless you're gonna talk that Ankalaev Walker is like a possible number one contender fight. In which case, then does he get the winner of that for a number one contender spot? Because I mean, 8 years with the company, he's paid his dues.
Maybe. No, that's a good plan. No, that's a real good plan.
I'm not saying give him Alex right now.
No. I like what you said. I like what you said about maybe the winner of Ankalaev, but I'm sure Ankalaev wants a title shot. You know, he kind of got dicked out of that his win against Blachowicz.
Yeah, but I mean, but even Rakic, he's on a tear too.
Then you put that on the opening. You put that on the opening of a pay-per-view. See what happens.
I skipped over Nikita Krylov, but honestly, like a number 8 fighting a number 7 is really with all this other stuff going on. Here's the issue though. Like John Jones left light heavyweight, but it's almost like he's still here. Like, you know, when you have somebody like Khabib, it wasn't so much. It was the rest of the division jockeying for whatever. It wasn't really any other movement. You know what I'm saying? It was guys trying to make it to 5 because he's already beat 2 and 4, and he's getting ready to fight 3. So the guy wants to try and fight the number 5 guy because that's the next possible option for fresh blood. But, you know, John Bones left, and then Jamal Hill, possibility. The guy's no slouch. He could have taken over as like the head and just kind of ran through the division a little bit. But that Achilles injury, man, he's out for a minute. Yuri is not. I could see Yuri winning a belt, but I don't think the UFC wants Yuri to win a belt, even though he's big in the European market. But it's Yuri. Not. I mean, there's only so much. Like I said, and then Nikita Krylov is just sitting there at 7. He just dropped the spot through no fault of his own. But so like I said, I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going on. We got the press conference for 96 coming up this week, but then Friday they're doing that quarterly seasonal, you know, they'll do the seasonal press conference where it'll cover like 3 events, and Strickland's supposed to be there. So we get two press conferences in 1 week that should produce some fucking gems of content.
No, that's gonna be good. That's really gonna be good.
Yeah, so you get like an extra little fuckery press conference this week to end out the year. Other than that, man, like I said, that's what I see for Khalil Roundtree. Either, I hate to say it to keep Pereira out that long, but you can even do something like a Rakic fight, and then the winner of that fight faces the winner of Ankalaev Walker but you're talking with them being booked, you'd have to book something and then wait for their medical suspensions to get over if it's a banger. And you're talking 6 months. So I think it makes the most sense for that division to really either Walker Ankalaev gets the number 1 contender spot, gets the title.
Absolutely. No, dude, Ankalaev, he's the best fighter in that division. He's a favorite against anybody. Yeah,
that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, we can look over here too. You got Sean just had a win. We just dropped these ranks haven't changed. Sean just had to win. You got these 2 fighting this week. You know, Covington and that. Bilal's the backup for Covington Edwards. He weighed in there. Vicente Luque and Ian Gary's fight. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff's going to look different on this page here come next week, I think.
Yeah. Dude, I'm even excited just hearing you go over the fight card. I'm excited for Sean Strickland versus Dricus Duplessis, or Plessis, however you want to say it.
Yeah, we're a couple weeks off of that, buddy, but we can peruse it.
Oh my God. No,
we always do this though. We always say we're not going to cover a card.
Yeah.
And we'll start peeking at cards like 3 weeks out, and then by the time it's actually time to do like an honest unless something drastically changes or the odds are shifted a bit from where they were. We've already said everything we need to say.
I am so ready for this weekend. I've been excited for this fight card for a long time. Do you know how many parlays I have coming to fruition during this event? I need Pantoja, I need Shavkat Rakhmonov, and I need Leon Edwards. If those 3 fighters win, I'm winning 1,000 or 2. It should be some good shit. So.
Yeah, here's the deal. I'm stoked to be going out to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And again, 247 Fighting Championships. We're going out there Saturday. Meetup. Anybody that messaged about the meetup, the meetup's going to be at the old school Permanente downtown. Anybody that sent messages, I sent them messages back. So
I'm sad I'm
you have those messages.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Yeah, we're just making a day of it, bro. I got a couple people over there I want to link up with. I'm stoked. Yeah. We're staying right next to the venue.
No, dude, that's a fun time.
And then we're immediately leaving. Thankfully, it's a 10 o'clock card because I feel like we should be able to get out of 247. As excited as I am to go there, it also happens to be the same day. So we are racing back over to the hotel, or racing upstairs to the hotel, and getting that card on in the room. Unless we could talk the bar downstairs into putting it on, in which case we will. But I don't think they're going to drop $80.
It's gonna be good, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. Really I am going to miss the prelims, so I am expecting you to keep me updated because you will be out and about Saturday watching.
Correct.
Watching as well, if I remember.
Yeah, headed out with my family, so with my brothers. Yeah,
there you go.
We try and get together.
This was last week. This was last week. I do remember. Again, we keep receipts, both good and bad. Bill said Steve Garcia is a joke, and he's not going to win.
No, I'm
paraphrasing. It's not exactly what he said.
There's no way I said that. Garcia's not bad.
A little shade at Steve Garcia. He must have heard it. Came out, did what he needed to do.
No, Garcia's a good fighter.
Not cost out. No, good night. All in all, kind of called that. I did not know he was going to knock him out. I was anticipating I believe I called for a submission, but so I had no vested interest last week. I figured I had been doing too good with the casino wins and the parlay wins. So I just I was like, this card's all over the place. It's just been a shit show from the start. It's supposed to be in China. Then it was at the Apex. So yeah, other than that, Tim Elliott pulled it out, but that was a slick submission. That knockout was crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, the Anthony Smith Khalil Roundtree performance of the night, so he deserved that. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Song Yudong getting a little nasty on the mic. He's getting ready to make some moves if you haven't.
Doing his best to talk some shit.
Yeah, he'll I'm surprised. I didn't even look at the rankings. I'm surprised he didn't crack top 15. But we will, I guess, if you want to, we can go here a while.
Oh my God, such a good fight card.
just scrolling this.
Fuck you, dude. We got some awesome fights coming up, man. There's our boy Piper, dude. Bet the house. Save up some money. Bet $100. Bet $200. Piper.
I want to talk to Joey before. I want to talk to Joey before this. Before this card, so you need to work your Bill's magic.
I can do that. I can see if I can squeeze a little time out.
I think we need to squeeze like 15, 20 out of Joey just to. We know he's busy, but catch him before he goes out to Vegas and really hones in, because that's coming up.
Joe Piper wins that fight by knockout. That guy, Joe. Yeah, no, Joe knocks that guy out. Very sure. Very, very sure. That is an official pick.
Before I forget, guys, real quick, CannaDips.com, code FightShow, 20% off. I got one in now. I love this shit. This is tangy citrus. Again, I'll be trying different flavors every week. It's not intrusive. I have it wadded up so you can kind of tell, but definitely good. Nice little dose of CBD during the day. Does wonders for you if you haven't heard. It's not medical advice. CannaDips.com, code FightShow, 20% off. But, Covington Edwards. I don't know if this card could get any more stacked.
Let's go. Dude, the main feature on the prelims is Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett. You know,
I know it's
dude,
insane.
dude. Oh, and we get to listen to Bryce Mitchell on the microphone this week. Oh my god, that's so great. I love when that guy talks.
Freedom.
He just says some shit, man. Like, and he's so, dude. I like that guy, man. He his fight style isn't exactly the most exciting in the world, but if he's involved in a show, the sound bites you get from that shit and the behavior, it's fucking out of whack. But I love it, man. It's great.
Did you ever notice? Because we sit here all the time and we're like, oh, we don't cover the prelims a lot. I mean, we will. I always go down here and peek as like a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But it's when you get prelims and early, I mean, at the end of the day, you go from a guy with doesn't even have his picture yet to Andre Feely, who's been around for a hot minute.
You want to know what's funny? Like, scroll back up, look at the picture not up. Scroll back up. Who's the blank picture at the bottom?
Oh, blank picture. Okay.
Dude, the UFC is like worth $6 billion. It's like some crazy high up company. I'm like, they don't have a guy that does that shit. Like, how do you not have a picture of your fighter?
It looks like they took the WWE picture like Randy Orton and then just silhouetted it out. We're gonna,
dude, you're like the biggest fight org in the world, man. So some guy didn't handle that today. Jesus.
What about they may? I remember when they first got the Reebok deal, there was gear print and the guys' names were spelled wrong.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's great. You'd be like, that's one of your fighters, bro. Like put his fucking pic. Imagine he goes to show his friends. He's like, hey, look.
Well, and in that case, here's the deal. Let's look at.
No, I remember watching this guy. He's a killer, dude. I remember watching his last fight. He finished the guy, right? He didn't lose.
No, he's never fought in the UFC. This is his first. Yeah, this is his. Well, that explains why they don't have.
Are you sure? I thought I saw him before, man.
I mean, here we go. We'll just make sure I get this.
No,
we'll
I'm probably mistaking him with somebody else.
I mean, just for our own sake of knowing, even though Tapology, yeah, we're gonna say he's the heavyweight.
Yeah, he had one in the UFC, right?
We'll find out here in a second. Okay, he had one Contender Series fight.
Okay, that's I've seen him before. I've seen this because I remember looking at him. I'm like, who the fuck is this fat schlub who doesn't like take this shit seriously at all? And this guy came out. He won by like knockout, or what did he win by? Was it decision?
We're naked.
Yeah, this guy was like, I saw him and I'm like, this guy doesn't even take the sport seriously. Like, look at his body. Look at he's just sloppy. This guy comes out.
Yeah, I mean, his last couple of fights were with Aries and Brave, so he's definitely stepped up in competition. He went from, European mid-level organizations to like an Aries and a Brave, and then he got on Contender Series. So, I mean, that explains the.
How fat? Well, I'm sorry. What round was it? What round was it when he choked him out?
238 in round one.
Yeah, guy's killer. I was impressed, dude. He came
out.
What
is? Let's look here. I mean, like I said, we're just checking his shit out, but he's 11-0, 7 KOs, 3 submission, 1 decision. So no pick guy. I mean, Shamil. We'll see. This is his UFC debut. I mean, essentially from the Contender Series. I guess you could say this is his fight card debut, other than Contender Series.
I'll tell you, when he goes to fight, that Budai guy, however you say it, he's not very aggressive. He's very lumbering and slow and lean against you and lean on the cage. Shamil, he is actually like, the guy's vicious. Like, he tries to win by knockout. Like, he throws hard. Yeah,
I mean, look at the odds. He's fighting a top 15 guy in heavyweight. And we talked about this last week too. Like, at the end of the day, outside the top 5, is it really? It's just a couple guys jockeying for position. There's the heavyweight division is different in that retrospect, where you really only have 5. I mean, you got guys knocking at the top 10, but that just means they're coming through. But all the action's in the top 5.
Well, look at it this way. Budai has had at least 5 or 6 fights in the UFC. I forget how many
Yeah.
he's had exactly. This is Gaziev. This is his first fight in the UFC, and you couldn't match him against another guy who had no fights in the UFC. Like, you're throwing him in there against a guy who has multiple wins,
He's on a 4-fight win streak.
and you're against
He
a guy
beat Biggie Boy.
and there's a guy making his MMA debut is fighting that guy. The guy's on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. Like, they think very highly of this guy.
Yeah, 4-fight win streak, top 15 in the heavyweights. Fought. This will be his third time fighting this year at heavyweights. That's
and that's the guy you get in your debut. That's a little deep, you know.
Yeah.
No, they think highly of this Gaziev guy.
Andre Feely versus Alameda.
I think Feely. I remember watching him fight a couple times. Andre Touchy Feely. I thought his nickname was
Lucas. I'm trying to remember. Let me look here. I always gotta look. Okay, yeah, this is the guy that Pat Sabatini submitted. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Feely, and even if it goes to the ground, I'm gonna still give it to Feely. And this might be this guy's last fight. Who knows? Cody Durden.
Cody Durden wins that. He's I don't know, Russian guy. Like, I immediately see a guy
Hold
from
on
Russia.
now.
Like, hold on.
Yeah, bro, you got the not quite right eye. You got the Khabib trading beard.
Yeah.
There's a 50% chance he comes out with a fluffy hat on.
Yeah. I'm looking at a guy. It's funny when you can just look at his opponent, you be like, oh man, that guy looks like he can fight. Like, it's funny that when you're involved in this business, you kind of pick up on that from people. Like,
it's like normal people with cauliflower ear.
Oh yeah. Leave that guy alone.
We're just gonna leave him alone.
Yeah, please do. It's the best. Dustin
Jacoby, Cody Durden. These guys have been around for. Dustin Jacoby, I feel like he's been fighting for the UFC for a minute.
He should win that one. He's tough. He's a badass. He's tough. I think he beats Manafield.
3, 4, 5, 6, going back to 21, 7. Draw with Cutelaba. Yeah, I mean, he's got fight creds in the UFC going back to, you know what, he left and then came back. That's what it was. That's why it seemed like it was so long.
I don't,
because he's got creds back to, he's got two losses back in 2011, 2012, and then came back in the test. Maybe that's why. It just seems like he's been around forever.
Listen, I've been wrong before. Manafield, Jacoby, I don't see how that one possibly goes the distance. You know, I've been wrong before, but like that's probably one of those guys knocking the other one out.
I'm trying to see.
Manafield is just like straight aggressive the whole time.
Okay, he beat Misha Serkinov. He beat he lost to our buddy William Knight. When William Knight fought in the UFC for Cappuccino that he fought in the UFC. Poor
yeah,
guy.
that guy was a strange story. Hell of a nice guy, man. I refereed him.
It wasn't his fault. I tried to tell you, like, from personal experience with that guy, like, William Knight was I always do this. William Knight was a big fish in a small pond, and he had management that at the time, now I can't say, I don't know who his management was when he made it to the UFC, but at the time when I dealt with him back in like 2016, his management definitely handpicked his opponents for him, and it didn't do him any favors because he had the ability to get, like, he blazed through CES, and before you know it was in the UFC and had his amateur and early professional career going differently. I think his path in the UFC would have been drastically different because he had some skill. The guy was, and like you said, a hell of a nice guy. One of the nicest guys in the world.
What the hell happened to him? You know, he just would go in the cage and not fight. Like, he'd put on these boring, like, he wasn't even trying. Like,
it's big. It's like that big fish. And like we talked about, these guys that get in these pockets and they're the baddest motherfucker. And
yeah, but
they can't walk through the town they live in or the region they live in, or you know, in some cases you come into an area and that's the only area you fight in, and you get this reputation. I was listening to DeBella. He fights for one. He's a kickboxer. Kickboxing is illegal in Montreal. So he did so much training down here in New York that like his whole reputation as a fighter was based in New York. It wasn't even, he was selling tickets for shows. He would fight in New York because they couldn't fight in Montreal. But you get in these pockets sometimes and you get people that aren't looking out for you, or that are more, or promoters that are more worried about promoting their brand, that they want a figurehead and they don't want it to naturally happen. Speaking of big bad motherfuckers from the East Coast.
Oh shit, the brick. What's up, Pat?
Fucking Pat. We're gonna have to have Pat on here. Pat, I
Dude,
see he's got
great.
a successful business. He's out here
I'll tell you what.
Wins.
And I've told them this both before. Pat Brady versus Ian Austin was one of my favorite amateur fights that I've ever done. Man, those guys, they got in there. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. Dude, they just like swung at each other like wild for 3 rounds. It was fucking great. It was the best amateur fight I've ever reffed. And truth be told, I took a point from Pat because his mouthpiece kept flying out. Yeah, I know. What a dick, right? Somebody should do a referendum about me.
This fucking guy.
Pat Brady would have won that fight had I not taken that point. But man, it was one of the best fights I've ever reffed in the amateurs. So shout out Pat.
Shout out Pat Brady. Pat Brady, we would love to have you on here, share your story, promote anything you got going on. We love these East Coast, PA, New Jersey, New York guys. Like,
yeah, he's probably once he recovers his knee, I'm thinking he's got another one in the PFL. I don't think he's gonna walk away. So I think he'll get another shot in the PFL.
Pat says I got a new mouthpiece after that. Bill Bookwalter. Hey, that'd be a good one. Pat gets back in the ring. Well, you spar Pat Brady, and he gets to some payback for you taking that point from him, and he gets to fuck you up a little bit, and we get some content.
I'd do it.
I mean, you're talking about Sean Strickland, and not to take anything away from East Coast, our East Coast legend Pat Brady over here, but like, I'm thinking a lot of people would like to see that. For all the points that you took, for all the people.
I'd like to do a round with Pat Brady, as long as like for the first 3 or 4 minutes, like we're just going like 40-50%, and then the last minute we can pick it up a little bit. Like otherwise he would kill me, man. I can't go 5 minutes with that. We'd have about a minute worth of content, and I'd be down and done.
Are we saying we're gonna do this? Is this gonna be a quarterly segment? Or
I don't know, man. Yeah, I can't.
How much can the old boy take over here?
Hey, how many people have gotten to see a fighter beat the shit out of a referee that took a point from him? I think we'd probably be the first in history.
Yeah. I mean, we could really play it up. We get you like a Steve Mazzagatti mask. Get you a Mario. We'll get Mario Yamasaki to ref the whole thing. We'll do a smoker. It'll be an exhibition.
Hey, we'll do I don't know. We'll do something cool after the first of the year. Give me a reason to get back in shape, you know? And like at least have a somewhat respectful showing of myself. You know, not just Pat Brady knocks the shit out of fat ref. Yeah.
I'll ride it. You let me know when you're doing camp, and I'll ride along the rural roads of Lancaster, and I'll be hanging out the window with the Rocky music playing for some. I'll be your emotional support fat guy. Teach us some fat guy jujitsu.
We'll get with Pat Brady off to the side. Let me see what I can set up. I'll jump in there for 5 minutes with Pat.
We have to make it in summertime too, when it's hot. Get PTO time build up so you can take a day.
It would be fun, man.
See if we can hit that the ice plunge sponsorship that we're working on. Get you an ice bath for camp.
It'd be fun.
Casey O'Neill, Arian Lipsky. I think Casey O'Neill might have a shot at that one. Cody, this one I'm excited about on the prelims.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of salty because I'm still going to be at 247 enjoying their show this weekend in Pittsburgh. But I'm going to need updates on this one.
No, I refereed both guys. That's the right fight for where they're both at in their career. You know, the UFC is going to keep one of them, and they're probably okay with getting rid of the other. So this is a huge fight, man. Huge fight. Two guys' livelihoods are on the line. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
They're both gonna bring it.
It's one of them ones where I don't even want to comment on. I met Kelleher at a show years ago.
Yeah, no,
ended up helping. I did some content with him one time, so like I kind of know him a little bit, like I'm acquainted with him a little bit. And then Cody Garbrandt's just, you know what I'm saying, come up through in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
He fought in. Who did he fight for? He fought in PA as was it
Joey
amateur?
Porter. Joey Porter was the kid's name. I refereed it. Yeah, he fought Joey Porter up there in towards Pittsburgh. Who was that one that Mark Cherico used to fight for? Oh God, I'm gonna blank and look like an idiot now. But yeah, he fought a kid named Joey Porter up there. It's on YouTube. The fight's on YouTube.
Was that amateur or pro?
No, that was pro. You know what? Cody Garbrandt, actually, that was the first world champion. I'm always like Sean Strickland always comes to mind. No, Cody Garbrandt, that was the first world champion that I ever refereed. That you know, you don't know who they are until you don't know when they're 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-0 as a pro. You don't know they're going to be the UFC champ one day.
Yeah.
So Cody Garbrandt, he was the very, very first UFC champion I ever refereed.
And you ref Strickland. Where was he fighting when you refed him?
UFC Norfolk, maybe. Yeah, UFC Norfolk down in Virginia.
That was early on, though.
Yeah. He fought this guy named Alex Garcia. He fought this guy named Alex Garcia. It was when Strickland was a 170-pound guy. I vaguely remember doing the rules meeting with him, vaguely, because he was a strange dude back then. You know, he said he would say some weird shit, and yeah, no, I remember giving the rules meeting and stuff, and then he knocked Garcia out. I didn't know he was going to be a world champion either. So, yeah, interesting thing.
Interesting journey.
Yeah,
Bill Bookwalter, Tales from the Referee's Ass by Bill.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I've talked with those guys before they were champions, man. You know.
Well, you said you blinked, and one day you're standing there with Bruce Buffer. And
yeah, for sure.
Joe Rogan.
I'm like, holy fuck, I did that.
Be nuts. Probably my favorite story you've told on here.
All right. Yeah, like I was just a regular dude. No, Mitchell and Emma is good. Irene Aldana is good. She got beat by Amanda Nunez last time, I think. So this is like she's trying to defend her spot, you know, in the rankings.
Still at number 5, it's heating up. Women's bantamweight. Yeah.
Well, Nunez is gone now, apparently, I think.
Yeah.
She's retired. So the belt's like kind of up for grabs.
You know, it's kind of, so I said it's kind of heating up. There's no
Well, Amanda Nunez was so dominant for so long. It was just like her and everybody else. And now she's gone. So like anybody has like a pretty fair chance to win it, you know? Nunez was just so much better than everybody else.
Well, it's one of them. You get a Jose Aldo, you get a Renan Barao, you get Demetrius Johnson, you go back and it's cool and it's exciting, but at the end of the day, like you're looking at a middleweight and a light heavyweight division that are now kind of, which again is for fans that's exciting for us, but it's there's so many paths and so many possibilities in the when a guy like John Jones leaves or a guy like Izzy gets dethroned, it's kind of it leaves everything. It's a power, not a power vacuum, but essentially it's if there's a vacuum.
No, there's they're always looking for that, you know, who's going to be the king. It's basically like the queen or the king of the royal family has died. Who's taking over? Like the belt's up in the air, the undefeatable person, the person that nobody could defeat, they're gone. So who's going to be the next, like, you know, the next alpha at the top of the food chain? That's fun to watch.
Yeah. Speaking of that, welterweight. Ian Gary with no shortage of fuckery behind his name the last couple of weeks.
Oh, he skipped media day today. Which I get, you know?
It was the individual media day, which I think if he's going to do anything, that would have been the day to do it. There was also some shit with him and Strickland this week at the PI.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they yeah, he skipped media day, and that's fine. That's his choice. Like a guy like me, come right out. Just like fucking don't even give a fuck.
I mean, if you're going to carry yourself that way part of the time, you're going to carry. See, here's the deal with Ian Gary. Ian Gary is, and I see both sides of this, like to even go back further, like when you have a team, there is just something about fighting. I remember switching gyms, and it was a real, even though we were now on the same team and we trained together, there was a real process, feeling out process.
Mm-hmm.
And when you bounce gyms like that, I see why it leaves like old school thinkers a little bit, what are you doing? Like it doesn't sit well with like the traditionalists.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys traveling the world getting to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Rio. He's, working with strikers here. He's working with strikers there. Like if it works for him, I understand people's hesitancy with it, but I also see he's got cameras with him. But again, he's trying to build a brand. Like I see both sides of these arguments, everything that's popped up with Ian Gary over the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, okay, I see the argument of why this is a problem, but I also see the argument of why he's doing it. And it's kind of like, I'm indifferent on it. Like, let the guy live his fucking life the way he wants to live his life. It is what it is. They're all getting paid. Nobody cares. He's made it thus far.
If it were me and I was Ian Gary, be a villain. Fully embrace it. Just be a villain. Be the guy that people love to hate. Cocky, brash, like that's what works for him. He doesn't have to be a respectful, like George St. Pierre type. Like just play the villain. Like people want to treat you like shit. They want to talk shit. Okay, be the dickhead they say you are. I would embrace everything if I were him. That's just me.
There's a certain segment of the fan base too that's so fucking fickle, and you see. I can't remember where it was, but recently somebody was somewhere fighting, and by the end of it, they came out and they were booed. By the end of the fight, everybody there was cheering for him. Like in that quick of an instant in MMA, it's like I had a conversation with somebody the other day. It's pretty much like if you know anything about football and you know what Philadelphia Eagles fans are typically like, especially like the ones that go to the games in Philly and tailgate 6 hours early. And if you're wearing any color other than Philly's color, or Eagles colors, like they got something to say. Like MMA fans are that way to everybody. You could start out the evening and be gung-ho for this guy, and he does or says something or whatever. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the night, that it's the whole audience is swayed, and it's just crazy to watch. And like they do it in professional wrestling all the time, but in professional wrestling, they control that. Well, like it's part of the show.
I'll tell you what, when we talk about characters, okay, one of the best characters of all time that you've ever seen is Chael Sonnen. That's one of the best characters you've ever seen. He's the nicest, most humble guy. He does like free wrestling clinics for kids in Portland, Oregon. He's the nicest dude. The shit you saw on TV, that's the number one character of all time. This weekend, we get to watch probably the number 2 character of all time. Colby Covington is fucking great on the mic,
And for those that don't know, Colby Covington, that is not the real Colby Covington.
No, he's
I don't know Chael Sonnen. I've never met Chael Sonnen, and I can only speak on what I know. But like I've met Colby and talked to Colby. No, had a conversation with Colby.
He's the nicest guy.
Colby's the nicest guy in the fucking world.
Fuck yeah, dude. He gives he's the nice. There's a YouTube video of a fan coming up to him, and Colby's being real cool, and he was being taped, and he didn't know he was being taped. He was actually being himself. It was genuine. He's the nicest guy. And the guy's asking him, he's like, why? He's like, I think the fans should see more of this. And Colby says flat out, he goes, it doesn't sell. He breaks his character down there. He's like, they were ready to cut me until this. Like you could tell he genuinely feels bad probably about some of the shit he says, or he doesn't believe it, or he knows he's being fake. Yeah. He's explaining himself to this fan, and he's like, he flat out tells him it doesn't sell. They were ready to cut me. So he has to talk this shit and be this fake character. But man, he's good at it. He's a great actor. You really believe that he's this piece of shit dickhead. People love to hate that guy.
Yeah, you get love him or hate him either way you're talking about him. It's that old principle.
It's so much easier to be a villain. especially if you're a nice guy, it's so much easier to be a villain. Whether you're Chael Sonnen, whether you're Colby Covington, or whether you're Ian Gary, dude, I hope he goes full heel this weekend. That would be great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of at the end of the day, if he wins this weekend, for the sake of, I wanted him to win before because I was genuinely a fan of what he was doing. And all bullshit aside, like the guy lives his life the way he wants to live his life. I give zero fucks.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
he's getting paid. They're all getting paid. He's building the brand. Again, I see both sides of the argument. The training thing, okay, that limits you into where you're going to be able to go at the long run because there's not going to be people that want to deal with the fuckery. So I get that. But so maybe you're closing some doors, but if that's the way you learn and that's the way you're improving as a fighter, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, he hasn't fought the biggest names in MMA, but whoever they've put in front of him, he's fought.
I think I think Ian Gary wins this weekend. I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Aside from all the hype, I think he wins. Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson, because we're on the screen and we're just sitting here. Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson.
I have no idea.
I want to see Paddy win. I like Paddy Pimblett, and people in the comments are probably going to roast me later. But I like Paddy.
Do you know how many people want to see Tony Ferguson beat Paddy Pimblett and go out on a win? Just for everything, like he was respected for a real long time. He didn't always lose, you know.
Yeah.
He was one of the most feared, vicious fighters for a bunch of years, and then age catches up with everybody waiting around. I would have loved to have seen prime Tony Ferguson versus Khabib. I still think Khabib would have won, but I don't know. We never got to see it.
You're not even allowed to talk about that fight. That's the only one in history. I think they literally 4 times they booked it. It was canceled, or 3.
They knew how bad the fans wanted to see it. They tried. 4 times.
Yeah.
But that's a good fight. Paddy Pimblett is pure entertainment. I'll tell you what, whoever wins that fight is going to be talking a lot of shit. They'll give us some good sound bites.
I mean, he even fair play to Fatty, and this is why I like Paddy so much. Paddy said in an interview, I just saw this because it came up a couple times during the show.
No win situation?
No. Paddy watched the Gordon fight back.
Okay,
and even he agreed. He's like, I'm watching it back. I didn't look as good as I thought I did in like 1 and 3. Whatever he said. I don't want to mutilate what he said, but yeah, that's essentially what he said. So even Paddy was like, look, I'll chalk that one up to the judges. Like, he's not even on the same tip where, nope, I won, blah, 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 blah. Like, another one that I'm kind of like, as stacked as this card is.
Yeah.
And as excited as I am for this card, like Stephen Thompson and Shavkat Rakhmonov is probably going to be, and I'm not going to say it's going to be fight of the night, but I can't. You sit there and give me $500 a year money to bet with it. I don't think I could bet it. Like, I don't.
I'll tell you what. You want to know why it's not going to be like an exciting fight? Is because for it to be an exciting fight, they need to be going back and forth. Rakhmonov is going to steamroll this guy. Rakhmonov is he will be champion by the end of 2024 at the 170 weight class.
Yeah.
Mark my words. This guy is very, very good.
And with all this money that Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi and all, they're getting all this Middle East money. Same way the PFL is. Like, you want a guy or two from Eastern Europe, Western Asia.
I'll tell you what.
Fun fact, Bill. I don't know if you noticed. Buddy Daniel stopped in. Mm-hmm. Daniel is, I'm going to say Australia because I don't. New South Wales, if I think so. Dan tunes in from Australia to watch it. He's a good friend of the show. Supports everything we do. Always has insight. Always in the comments. So shout out to Dan. I enjoy having thorough conversations with him. You didn't miss much, buddy. We've just been rambling, talking about shit.
That's good.
So shout out to Dan, one of the very first members of the Fight Show Nation. So we're glad to have him. Rakhmonov and Thompson. I don't want to say that Shavkat Rakhmonov is going to steamroll Stephen Thompson.
No, he does.
Say that.
He does.
I don't say it.
He grabs a hold of him, whips him down, chokes him out pretty quickly. Probably, maybe not in the first, but by the second. The fight won't see the third round. Rakhmonov is dude. The way he submitted Neil Magny. Neil Magny, for those who don't know, has had like 20 plus some fights in the UFC. Guy's super, super good. I mean, Rachmanov took him down, guillotined him like it wasn't shit. Like he was just doing like general sparring rounds. Then he went in against Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal is an amazing, amazing tough-nosed fighter. And he basically, that was the fight where he literally stood up behind him and choked him out while they were standing.
Yeah, it was a weird, like reverse bulldog rear naked. It was definitely, I remember that. It was definitely, that was Jeff Neal.
Rachmanov's a killer. He'll be champion by the end of 2024. No, he steamrolls Stephen Thompson. But hey, kudos to Stephen Thompson for taking the fight, man. That's like, I think he was supposed to fight somebody else, wasn't he? I'd have to double back on that. I'm not even sure if that's right, but props to him for stepping in against Rachmanov. The UFC wants Rachmanov to win that fight.
Well, yeah, like I said, it makes sense. It makes sense for them with the markets they're in and the investments they just got. I don't know why I can't select this thing.
Well, and you get longevity out of you get longevity out of one side versus the other, Rachmanov. He could be around for a long time. Stephen Thompson, win or lose, he's probably a year or two away from being done. He's in his early 40s. It's just much better for the company if they want Rachmanov to win.
58 and 0 in kickboxing. Insane. I knew he had high class, like a pedigree in kickboxing. I didn't know. I jumped into a conversation with our friend saying, yeah, Daniel said New South Wales. I was right. So I don't know where in Australia that is, but he's New South Wales. So he's tuning in. We are international, Bill.
I like it. My ass is international.
We're international. Your ass is international.
I like
Brent Coleflesh is the president of your ass fan club. I want to remind you guys one more time. We are brought to. Well, you know what? Let's finish this out, and then I'll hit the promo quick.
Okay.
Pantoja Royval.
Pantoja has beaten Brandon Moreno 3 times. Do you understand how hard that is?
Yeah.
You understand how hard that is? Like, Brandon Moreno is like by far the next best guy. The separation between Pantoja and Moreno is huge. They are the 2 best guys. If it weren't for the other one would be like a multi-year champion reign. Pantoja beat Moreno 3 freaking times. Brandon Royval is good, but Alexander Pantoja and he's choked him out before. They've fought before, and Pantoja choked him out in like the second round. So Pantoja is the better fighter. Beat Brandon Moreno 3 times. That's incredibly hard. So as good as Royval is, Pantoja wins that one.
Leon Edwards, Colby Covington.
I got a lot of money on that one. Not gonna lie, got a lot of money on that one. Colby Covington, yes, he beat Robbie Lawler, who I love. Yes, he beat Jorge Masvidal, who I also like. He took them down and laid on them for 5 rounds. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. They weren't like in their prime. They were kind of old and washed. They weren't as good as they once were. And he lost 2 in between to Kamaru Usman. Now he's going against the guy who beat Kamaru Usman twice. They said Leon Edwards hasn't lost since 2015. He's an active fighter. He's the champion. I saw him kicking pads the other week. Bro, the way he's kicking these fucking pads is like sick. I don't think he lets Colby Covington come in. Colby is his only chance is to take Leon down and lay on Leon for 5 rounds. Not do a whole lot of damage, but just like dominate positionally. He did it to Robbie Lawler. He did it to Jorge Masvidal. I don't think he does it to Leon Edwards. I see Leon Edwards like kicking the fuck out of this guy. Probably finishing him 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah, I think Colby tops the stat. I forget what the stat was. I just posted it the other day. If Colby loses this, he's 3-0 or 0-3 and 0-3 in title fights. And with that being said, we are excited for that. And then just a few housekeeping notes as soon as I pull this thing up here that I have to read and get it where I need to get it here. want to let you guys know about the exciting. We always got stuff going on in the background, guys. We are got a few things we're working on right now. Some stuff that's going to come to fruition next year. But one of the things we are proud to, let me get here full screen. I'll show you guys. And of course, since I did that, I lost it. We'll come back to you in 30 seconds, Bill. But we are proud to partner with the great dip alternative, the OG hemp dip CannaDips. CannaDips is the nation's leading tobacco and nicotine-free dip that helps you quit the bad stuff and provides you with a discreet and fast-acting dosage on the go. CannaDips are the ultimate discreet dose, no smoke, no smell, allowing you to throw it in at any time, at home, at the gym, or when you're kicking back ready to watch the fights. Step your dip game up and chew on an all-natural product made from the hills of Humboldt County, California. I've said it before, guys. I've personally used these for like 10 years. I know personally, again, this is not medical advice, but when I quit smoking cigarettes, like these things help with cravings a lot. It's a simple little dip pouch here, 10 milligrams of CBD per pouch. They have a bunch of different flavors. But you can head on over to CannaDips.com and use our code FightShow for 20% off your next order. And right now, I just saw the other day when I was on there, they're doing free shipping on orders over 50. And if you're not sure what to try, this right here, I'm doing a flavor of the week. This is tangy citrus flavor. Again, there's not a flavor that I have tried out of their 5 main that I haven't liked. And then they have little limited stuff they do all the time. But CannaDips has you covered with their Cali roll that gives you all 5 core flavors to help you find the right one. And again, guys, tangy citrus is here. I can speak on it and haven't found one I haven't liked. So head on over to CannaDips.com. Use the code FightShow. 20% off your order. And with that being said, I'll bring our buddy Bill back in.
Hey, and just a reminder, everybody, they do not show up in your analysis. That's correct.
Yes, CBD.
That's a big deal.
Legally nationwide. We get them here. Like they're available at Sheetz, which is our local big convenience store here in Pennsylvania. But yeah, they sell them here. There's a locator on there. They're sold at stores nationwide. You don't have to order offline if you don't want to. The code helps the show out, but store locator, you put your zip in right on their website. But like I said, guys, CannaDips.com, code FightShow, 20% off your order. Before we get into what pissed Bill off this week, again, shout out 247 Fighting Championships in Pittsburgh. We will be out there Saturday. I know Friday they have a grappling event. They were extremely tight on tickets the last I heard. Standing room, they've released some standing room only tickets. It's actually in Monroeville, just outside of Pittsburgh. Bill is unfortunately not coming this weekend in place of Bill. We will be bringing my equally as handsome, probably less talented brother. But we will be out of Pittsburgh. 247 Fighting Championships.com, I believe, is their website. You can get the stream. A lot of good action. Our buddy Jacob Olavi from Virginia, Kaizen MMA, is coming up there to challenge some guys from PA. Got some amateur fights on the card. Ryan says it's always a good show. I have not heard anything less. So if you are in the mood for something different this week, check them out. Again, if you message me about the Pittsburgh meetup, the meet and greet for Fight Show fans, we will be at Primanti Brothers. The old school Primanti Brothers time is in the messages I sent you guys. Other than that, if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you want to link up, message me.
Dude, I'm sad I'm missing out on that, for real. Like, I got to spend some time with my family and stuff like that. I'm sad I'm missing out.
What we are looking forward to, so I fully understand that you have to spend time with your family because it's family first, but you're leaving me in the wind here. This is the Fight Show trip. So with that being said, I think it's only fair that you work your magic, and when bare knuckle fighting is legal in Pennsylvania and Eddie Alvarez comes to Philly to fight, that you work your referee magic, and
I'll get him. You know what I mean? I will offer to donate $50 or $100 to a charity of his choice if he comes on, just, hollers with us, shoots the shit for a couple minutes. He won't be able to say that. He'll be good.
And either way, we're going to be there live. One would assume if the first bare knuckle fighting championship event, they legalized in California, so that was exciting this week. Shout out to David Feldman for that.
Oh, dude, it's coming to PA soon, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying. If it's coming to PA soon,
fuck yeah, dude. Dustin, the Disciple Peg, an old teammate of mine. He'll be fighting on the card. I don't want to toss their name out there yet. I got a couple Lancaster guys who have a very respectable mixed martial arts record. I know for a fact. I've seen the screenshots. They've been directly talking to Dave Feldman about getting on the Philly show. I'll probably end up sponsoring both those fighters. Both those fighters will probably end up being on the show. So yeah, I'm pumped about this one.
Yeah, dude, 24 is going to be crazy, man. If BKFC comes to Philly,
oh, it's coming, dude. Feldman is a genius. Okay, I remember him back throwing XFE shows at Harris Casino back when he was smaller time in 2012. That guy's a genius. He knows he has another banger on his hands with Perry and Alvarez. If you put them in a ring, bare knuckle boxing, they're both going to swing on each other. It's always going to be a good fight. You know, they're always going to do damage and hit each other. Like it's exactly.
Well, David Feldman. We always probably go further down the rabbit hole on the business side of things than most people care to hear. And you'll notice we'll get in like some 15-minute deep conversation, and the number of viewers will probably just drop off. But fuck them. We're talking about what we want to talk about. But you know, if you look at the space in which he's operating, it's uncharted territory. So David Feldman does what David wanted to do. So when you see names like Triller, when you see names like Bucked Up Sups, you see all these brands that are they're hustlers, and they've made moves, and it might not have correlated directly with combat sports, but if you didn't know who David Feldman was at the beginning of 2023, and you don't know who David Feldman is at the end of 2023, then you're living under a fucking rock.
You want to talk about a come up story, man? Like Dave was he was fair to me. You know, in Pennsylvania, a lot of promoters don't get along with each other. You know, they have different visions, they have different ways stuff's going to go. Dave Feldman was always good to me. You know, and I remember talking with him cage side. I think this might have been. The venues all run together. It was either Valley Forge or XFE at Harris Casino, and he's telling me about this bare knuckle boxing idea that he has, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, the commission is overly like cautious with mixed martial arts. Like they're not going to do bare knuckle boxing isn't going to take off. Like it took everything. It took everything we had to get most states legalized the mixed martial arts. Now you're asking them to take bare knuckle boxing. And I was like, no, this is a horrible, horrible idea. Like, you're going to put all kinds of time and money into it. Nothing's going to happen. I told you today in inbox, I'm wrong a lot. Dave Feldman did it, man. He did exactly what the fuck he said he was going to do. Bare knuckle is huge right now. Like, he's got like legit people on his roster. I saw a funny interview with him the other week. He said, Conor McGregor, when your UFC contract is up, he said, call me. I'll give you as much money as you want. Like,
speaking of McGregor, did you see him and Yan?
Yeah.
So they must have paid him. He was sitting one side of the cage, and Islam was sitting on the other side of the cage. And then him and Peter Yan got in for some face-off. They ended it. It was cordial, but I just think it was hilarious. Conor McGregor has faced off against 6,240 people, and he's only ended up fighting 6,250.
It's so true. It's so true. I love the guy, dude. He's pure entertainment. He's like one of the biggest draws you've seen. The guy doesn't fucking fight. You know, it's like, okay, when's the fight? You know, when the hell are you getting in the cage? What card is it on? It's just been like so long now. It's just like, man, you're honey dicking me. Every time you say you got a fight lined up, or you like put some promising news out on X or Twitter, like, I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. And then it turns out to be bullshit. And you're like, gee, man, like, you gonna fight already or what?
Yeah.
I would love Conor McGregor to come back. Man, he's getting older now. Every time he says he's coming back, he's not. It's some dumb shit. You know,
and again, people talk all this shit on the internet. I spend a lot of time with these toxic, you know, I'm on social a lot. Part of this whole thing. He's still coming back. Like, he's got to come back first. Like,
when? Yeah, when?
He's got to come back. If the guy steps foot in that cage, he deserves more credit than anybody, because of all the fuckery that he tweets. He tweeted something the other month and basically said that if these guys had his net worth for a salary or something like that, you wouldn't see him again. So when he does come back, I firmly believe he's going to come back. I'm not saying he's going to come back and beat Chandler. I'm not saying that he's going to come back and do much more than one fight. He's got options though. Even if he comes back to the UFC and gets embarrassed by Michael Chandler, and then that's it. He's done after that, right?
I would think
he can go do a boxing match here.
I would think, yeah.
This
If he loses to Michael Chandler, yeah, I would think he'd be done in the UFC. There's, they're not really driving for you to be champion again. Like the sport has moved on, which is a weird day. I remember Conor McGregor.
At the end of the day, if he comes back and puts 2 or 3 together, I think Conor McGregor comes back. Here's the deal, and I noticed this, and it's a bit of fuckery, but it is what it is. Chandler's ranked 5th. Chandler has been as active as fucking McGregor. I mean, more, but what's Chandler came into the UFC what year?
It was after his Bellator stint.
So he's only had 4 or 5 fights in the UFC. Chandler's only been here for
probably 2019, guessing.
Yeah. So he hasn't done anything in how long? And I mean, I know he just fought last year, but Chandler's sitting at number 5. If he loses to McGregor, then, I mean, if you want to get technical with it, if he loses to McGregor, then you wake up on Wednesday morning, and Conor McGregor is going to be number 5.
Well, you're 100% right. That could happen.
Or listen, 8, or something similar. But there's no reason for Chandler to still be ranked 5.
Here's the deal, though. Michael Chandler, he trains like a professional, right? Mm-hmm. Like he takes this shit serious, like for real serious. Conor McGregor, as great as he was at one point at doing whatever, the guy's drinking a bottle of whiskey at every event. Every time you see him in the front row, he's got alcohol on him. He's already like, God knows how much money he has in the bank. Over 100 million, I would guess, right?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Do you understand how hard it would be to stay focused and push yourself to work out to what drove you to be the champion? Like you already have all the shit. Michael Chandler doesn't have all that shit yet. He is extremely professional. This training camp between both of them, they've had this on the books for easily a year now. We're coming up on the next season of The Ultimate Fighter, and they were the coaches on the old season of Ultimate Fighter, and that's when the fight was supposed to take place. So this fight seems to be the only one the UFC wants to make between both of them. Chandler is an absolute professional, and he wants like what McGregor has. McGregor's like partying and like getting older by the day, as we all are. But I don't think there's any way Conor McGregor beats Michael Chandler. I think Michael Chandler wins that all day.
Well, and I'm not, for the sake of argument's sake, there was no way that he was going to beat Jose Aldo. There was no way he was beating Chad Mendes, because Chad Mendes still, had a good bit of life left. There was no way he was going to, he's not beating Cowboy Cerrone. But then you have the argument of he fought Cowboy Cerrone at what stage in his career. So I never say never.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I just book the fight already. Like book the fight. Yeah. Put the date.
Well, and here's the deal: we're not Dana Dick Riders here. We fully acknowledge that Dana White set the standard. Dana White clearly knows what he's doing. Does he make all the decisions best all the time? No. Do we agree with everything he says and all his stances? No. He's been proven wrong time and time again. But
I remember when Dana White said, "We don't do gimmick fights over here," and then the next thing you know, they're doing the they flash back the CM Punk fight. He's done it before. You know what I mean? The guys are promoted.
I find a difference though in CM Punk and a gimmick fight. Yes, you as a company brought a name in so that he was a professional entertainer.
Yes, it was
just like Jake Paul made a name for himself, jumped into pro boxing. Well, guess what? Jake Paul has boxed as a professional. Now he is a pro boxer. These fuckwads arguing it on the internet.
But booking CM Punk was to make a certain audience look left, look right, and look at something else besides professional wrestling. And if Dana White even corralled 10% of those people because they liked another fight, and they buy again, then that's what he was gunning for. He was just trying to use that to grow the sport,
Well, yeah, the same way you can see, Kimbo Slice.
Mm-hmm.
Kimbo Slice was another example. Oh, he can't fight. He'll never be in the UFC. Bah, 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 bah. He got starched. And even when Kimbo was already fighting MMA, Dana was still talking shit. He got beat by a guy from the undercard in 13 seconds. And bah, 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 bah. Kimbo Slice ended up in the UFC.
People can change their mind. You know, Dana White said women's MMA will never be in the UFC ever. Then you had the whole Ronda Rousey era. You know, people change their mind. They see some shit. You know, you don't got to stick with what you said always. If you see some other shit you like, or some, you know, if you see something that changes your mind.
As a businessman, I can firmly say that I'm never going to do this. But if it doesn't compromise my values, perfect example, CannaDips. I use CannaDips. So when I have the opportunity to work with them, I agree with their product. They align with our values. Like, it's not something that I'm not out here preaching, killing kids in the street. Like, I always reserve the right to change my mind on shit. Like, if you know more about a topic than me and I feel some type of way about it, and you can educate me in a conversation and I walk away, I'm inclined to change my mind. I'm always reserved to change my mind.
Dude, you know, that's the best thing about what we're talking about. If you've ever seen Dana White at press conferences, the guy doesn't care. He's going to do what he wants to do. And he's doing okay at it. You know, he's turned this little $2 million business into a $6 billion business. The guy knows what the fuck he's doing. He's not going to say everything you want to say all the time. He is genuine. I don't think I've ever heard him say, listen, I changed my mind. That would be just somebody like, oh, I thought you said this was never going to happen. You know, and just say, hey, I was wrong. Won't be the first time. Won't be the last time.
He'll own it. He'll own that shit.
Yeah,
well, sometimes, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If people were like, oh, you said women's MMA was never be in the UFC, and Dana looks at you, he's like, I changed my mind. Now there's women's MMA.
Well, here's Dana's thing. Dana's a business owner. He does what the fuck he wants to do.
Yes.
And he reserves the right, like, much like he doesn't have to agree with you. I'm sure Dana, and this is where we need more of this, because I'm sure Dana has friends that are liberals.
Yeah. He does.
That doesn't, it's as staunch as he, I mean, for fuck's sakes, look at the Theo Vaughn thing. Theo Vaughn literally told Dana on Theo's podcast that Peloton had contacted him and said, take this shit down. And Dana was like, oh, fuck, we have live on the internet. Oh, we have these bikes in our gym? Fuck them. Get them out of the gym. That's a statement. Like, I don't, it is what it is. He runs his business the way he wants to run it.
Dude, and the beautiful part about it is when you have that kind of money, you can address what everybody's saying, but you still get to do what you want to do. I'm still going to fucking do it. I said, I'm still your business. There's no law in this country. You still get to do what you want to do, even if other people don't fucking like it. You know, as long as it's legal. I'm not talking anything stupid. But as long as it's legal, if Dana White wants to change his mind on something or do something different, or if you know what, if Jake Paul wants to fight Nate Diaz and it happens, it wouldn't happen. Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis, wants to fight somebody in the UFC, and Dana White wants to put that fight on, and he thinks it'll sell, he's going to do it. He doesn't care what you think. And I like that about Dana White, actually.
End of the day, Dana, you'll get sound bites from Dana, which I think are Dana's personal opinion a lot of the times. But at the end of the day, he's a businessman. So when he said women's MMA will never be a thing, and he saw how much money he can make off women's MMA, well, now we're in the women's MMA business.
Yeah. And he did genuinely like it. He liked the Ronda Rousey at the time, you know. He genuinely liked it. He was looking forward to watching the chick fight. Yes, he liked to make the money off her, but he actually dug women's MMA. It was something new for him. So, yeah, he just changed his mind, and you know, nobody gets to tell him what to do. He has fuck you money, and now we have women's MMA on Saturday. So there it is.
Literally almost every Saturday, and I'm thinking in 2024, like, you already have 52 weeks in the year, right? 12 of those are pay-per-views, maybe potentially up to 14, they said in this last conference. So,
dude, they sometimes have on 2 a month.
Sometimes that's what I'm saying. 12, 13, they'll do 13 to 14. They're going to increase their fight. They're looking to increase their fight nights next year. Like, there's a very good possibility. There's a very good possibility that, well, what's for certain is this. You're going to be able to count how many weeks I'd be willing to bet that we don't have fight nights in 2024 on 2 hands.
That would be amazing, dude. Oh my God, 52 events a year.
I mean, just
that
say
would be
42.
awesome.
We'll say you can count the weeks they don't have fights, and you look at holiday, and you got to take into consideration holiday schedules. You got to take into consideration if Christmas is on a Sunday. I don't think the UFC is going to be inclined to do a pay-per-view Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, it's like it would be like football every fucking dude. I love Sundays. I love waking up on Sundays, cooking eggs, bacon, seeing the football games on, betting the football games, stuff. If I got to watch fights every single freaking weekend, like UFC fights, like I don't know, that would be something that would be really, really nice. I would like that.
Yeah, well, I'm a Fight Pass subscriber.
Very nice.
So anytime I feel like something's interesting, I could watch it. Or somebody's at the house and they're like, I'm not an MMA fan. Can you show me one show? This happened the other week. Show me one fight why I should be an MMA fan. And I ended up showing them two. But I showed them Rory McDonald Lawler.
Oh, brutal.
And then for the second one, I showed them Michael Johnson, Justin Gaethje. And I'm like, these are just the two off the top of my head from like the last 10 years that I want to show you.
It's good, man. It's a unique level of excitement. I don't know why we like it as much as we do, but we do. It's good.
I don't know, man.
I like watching guys fight. That's weird, but
and every week, throughout all this excitement and all this joy and all this money that Bill's making as a degenerate gambler, he somehow manages to find something that pisses him off every week. And with that being said, we're going to jump into the Ref Rant with Bill Bookwalter, brought to you by Pull No Punches Apparel. And I will give the screen over to Bill here, and he can take it away.
All right. I've had this one on my mind for a couple of years now, actually. I was just Charlie's trying to figure out how to work it in or when it felt that the time was right. The time it's right is feels like it's right now, right? We had talked some about the Bobby Green Jalen Turner referee stoppage last week, and it was late. And I just wanted to address that the other week. Said what I needed to say. I'm addressing bad refereeing tonight, okay? And bad refereeing, like I said, I've waited to do this for a while. Back in probably 2016, 2017, I'm going to ref rant about myself for the worst stoppage in my career. It's the one that sticks out in my head. The fighter is Sharif Jones, all right? I'm ranting at myself because Sharif was a top dominant wrestler, okay? He had been dominant in a bunch of fights that I refereed him, and he was fighting a guy in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Sharif was working for his takedown. He caught a couple elbows in the side of the head, and I saw him drop to one knee and fall to his back. So he immediately had my attention, okay? The guy he was fighting achieved mount. Like, Sharif knew how to grapple. This wasn't him. He was like kind of what I thought was already loopy. His fighter took full mount, and as Sharif was trying to get up and put his hands down, he took two or three open shots to the face, and I saw his head bouncing. I stopped the fight. He hopped up immediately, protested. I kind of had the feeling that I thought I might have made a mistake. I went back and watched the tape that he put on social media immediately right away. I made a mistake. It was a freaking horrible stoppage, crazy early. I did not cost him a shot at the UFC. I didn't. But I did impact his life negatively, which is not what I meant to do. He fought Will Martinez after that and retired a time or two. I hope I didn't disrupt the butterfly effect of his life, but that was the worst stoppage that I've ever done in my life. I saw it on tape afterwards. I literally begged the commission to just change it, call it a no contest, anything, whatever. I was told, no, you have to live with it. That was your call. That was why a couple of weeks ago I got so upset about the referee that the fighter dominated 3 rounds and he made an early stoppage on the head and arm choke, and they called it a no contest. You just don't get to call it a no contest. I had to live with my shitty call, and I'd like to take this time to publicly apologize to Sharif Jones. I'm sorry, man. It was just a bad call. I'm human, man. It's ate at me for a bunch of years. I hated I made the call on that night. I wish I would have done better. But the problem is, if you let it go a little bit too long and you see somebody's head bouncing, then you become the the guy that refereed Bobby Green, Jalen Turner, and you're vilified Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley.
Yeah. You want to let these guys fight, but you know what? If you jump in too early, you're too early. If you're too late, you're too late. It's a fine line, and bad refereeing is what I'm calling out this week. Kerry Hatley is a great referee. He made a bad call. I like to think back in my heyday or whatever like that, I was a good referee. I made a bad call. So my referee this week is at myself. It's bugged me for a bunch of years. Feels good to get it off my chest. So I couldn't say it while I was with the commission. So Sharif Jones, man, sorry, dude. Fuck that one up. My bad.
Ref Rant this week brought to you by Pull No Punches Apparel. Bill has a Pull No Punches Apparel hoodie on as we speak. So conveniently brought to you by Pull No Punches Apparel, and there's Bill rocking the brand that supports us. Christy said you were a great ref. I'd like to think that she was looking at your ass the whole time.
There was nights I was really good. I made some bad calls too. There was some nights I was really good though.
Hey, it happens, buddy. Nobody's perfect. Referees are people too. We need to have a little more compassion.
Hey, join us next month as we join Patrick the Brick Beatty, who kicks the shit out of referee Bill Bookwalter, who took a point from him.
Sponsored. What did you say the guy's name was? You did the bad stoppage was?
Oh, Sharif Jones, man. I'm sorry.
Sharif Jones is going to sponsor Pat Brady in the sparring match in which you get your ass kicked by Pat Brady.
I just made a bad call, man. It sucked.
Yeah, I think you made a bad call by agreeing to spar Pat Brady. Other than that,
oh, that's going to be fun, dude. The last minute we go. The first 4 minutes, 30-40%. Last 60 seconds, man, let's go. 80%. Pat, take it easy, man. I'm an old dude.
Dan says every week would be sensational. I'm with you, man. Can't get enough of it. And you got to figure when we gripe, not gripe, but, and sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's fun to get up at 7:00 in the morning on a Saturday, like you said, and cook breakfast and fucking watch the fights. But this guy is in New South Wales, Australia. So when we have these weird fucked up times that we don't like that's probably every fight card for this guy. I think he's like 15 hours ahead of us. So he's on some weird Sunday morning shit to be a fight fan. So shout out to our buddy Dan. Christy again said you were a great ref.
I had my moments, man. I did.
It's all good, buddy.
Hey, hear Michael Bisping say great stoppage by the referee on a UFC broadcast after you watch it afterwards is like, I didn't fuck it up, man. I've seen some bad stoppages in the UFC, and oh my God. And you know they're bad stoppages, and the crowd is booing, and as ref, you can't do shit about it. You just have to sit there and take it. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, but the crowd, you can't always go by the crowd booing because the crowd boos when there's two black belts on some high-level human chess, and they bitch about that too. So,
but on the stoppages that are bad,
yeah.
you gotta own it, even if you did horrible. I never had to face that down. Like I had some real good days at the office. A lot more good days than bad days.
I agree. With that being said, we're a little over. Get you out of here. Like I said, guys, CannaDips.com, code FightShow, 20% off your order. Proud to partner with them. FightShow episode 12 presented by Pull No Punches Apparel, 717 Surplus, and like I said, CannaDips. If you're in and around Pittsburgh this weekend, 247 Fighting Championships, I will be there with my special guest, my brother. Bill is indisposed this weekend, so he will not be there. If you hit me up about Pittsburgh meetup, Old School Permanis, time and location is in the messages I sent back to the group. We are with there Saturday. We will run over. We will watch the UFC pay-per-view after that. And then next Thursday, 7 p.m., we'll be back here to talk about it. So, as always, Fight Show episode 12. We are out, guys. Appreciate you.